Hey guys, it's Jen from beautyriotx. I feel pretty good today, so I thought I would film. So Profusion just came out with some brushes, and Profusion is really cheap, like in the financial way. So I thought I would try some of their brushes. So I also ordered their Mirage palette, which isn't new, but again, it's really inexpensive. And I also ordered some of their little mini shadow quads, which were like $2 each on sale. And some of their brushes. I ordered 4 of their brushes. I got 2 of their eyeshadow brushes, which if you've watched me before, you know I love their dual-ended brushes that come in some of their palettes. They're insanely good quality. Most ABH, Urban Decay, their dual-ended brushes are really shitty in my opinion. These dual-ended brushes that come in some of their palettes, like their $6 palettes, their $10, $12 palettes, are wonderful. Like, I use these all the time. So I thought, they just came out with brushes, so I really wanted to try them. They have eye and some face brushes. Unfortunately, they sent me the wrong, they didn't send me the 2 face brushes I ordered. They sent me like these 2 small eye brushes, which I'm not gonna use, so I just emailed them letting them know they sent me the wrong. They didn't send me my face brushes that I ordered, so I'm waiting to hear back. I'm also gonna try the new Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Infinite Longwear Concealer, crease proof with niacinamide, infinite coverage. I have the shade C6. I'm also gonna compare the e.l.f. Sheer Blurring Under Eye Primer to my Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector, which I love. I don't think they're gonna be the same, but this was $2.99 at Marshall's, so I thought, maybe it'll be good. It has hyaluronic acid, we'll see. I'm also gonna try another shade from the e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer. I have the cream shade. If you didn't see that video, this stuff was fucking awesome for $5. I couldn't believe how good my eyeshadow looked. I've used it like a handful of times so far. Each time, my shadow looked wonderful. It had good staying power. I mean, compared to even some really good high-end primers I've used in the past, it was awesome. For $5, like, get the fuck out of here. So I wanted to try the white to see how much my shadow popped. These little mini ones I thought were really pretty. So we have the mini rubies and the mini mauves. I love this mauve shade. I'm actually gonna save this quad for another time and use the mini rubies and the Mirage palette today. And we'll try the other stuff that I have. So let me go off camera, prime my eyes, we'll come back and come up with some kind of shadow look. So, BRB. Okay, so the e.l.f. white putty, I don't know if you can actually tell or not, but it did go on a tiny bit patchier than the cream shade did. That's the only difference I see so far. So we're gonna go in with the Mirage palette and take kind of like a peachy shade first. And this is a Profusion, this is the ES2 firm blending brush. As far as the eye primer, the e.l.f. eye putty primer goes, I usually use a concealer as like my base for eyeshadows. My issue with those is that blending sometimes can be an issue because sometimes if it's still kind of wet, when you put that first shade down, if you'll get that shade that kind of just sinks down and you'll get a blotch that you can't blend out, or a line that you just can't seem to blend out, or it's patchy or something. It just doesn't look right. I just don't have any issues on that front with this putty primer, like with the cream. Everything I've used on top of the cream, the white one I'm using for the first time, but everything I've used on top of the putty primer is like seamless. I'm hoping it's the same with the white. The white's supposed to give you more of like a pop, but I mean, so far, as I've put it down, it's still very sheer. Like, I was hoping it'd be a little bit more opaque to give you more of that pop, but it seems to be just as sheer as the cream shade. So I don't think it's gonna do much more of a pop. It looks almost identical to the cream. All right, I'm gonna go in with the rubies and go in with the orange shade. I'm gonna take that other brush. This is still that first brush that I used. I'm going with the other brush and just blend it out a little bit. See, even that I thought I was gonna have an issue, like with a line. and still it blended out. No line. Like no line at all. None. All right, I'm already kind of annoyed with this Mirage palette. Like these shades right here, these three, are so similar in color. Like why? Why are these three here? That annoys me so much in palettes. And I don't like Profusion's glitters. Their pressed glitters are horrible. Like they're just shitty glitters. I don't recommend using them. All right, so far these brushes are pretty good. I know I didn't do much with them, but I mean, it's pretty easy to spot a shitty brush when you first use them. They're either gonna put your shades on well or they won't. Let's go in with one of these repetitive reddish kind of shades right here. We'll do that one. And we're gonna go back in with that first brush that we used right here. And I'm gonna top it with this shade right here. Like these are very similar too. Like why do they have to be so similar? Why couldn't this one be a really deep red? That's a pretty color. Sometimes their shimmers can be like kind of off. Like some can be really good and some can be like, ugh. Ooh, that's a really pretty rose gold. That's an example of a really pretty one. This one's pretty, but it seems like it's like borderline bland. That one's also kind of borderline bland. Like on your finger, it looks like it'll be nice, but once you start moving it and using it, it might get crappy real fast. That's a really good one. That and the rose gold are like nice and soft and you have a lot to work with, but ooh, this one, it's like an orangey red. That's nice. A lot of pigment. All right, back to my eye. What am I doing? I think I'm actually gonna go in with that gold and see how I can work it on top of, let me just see how it goes on the eye. It would definitely be better on top of some kind of wet base, but it's definitely not bad either. It's a nice soft shade that definitely has a good bit of pigment. Let me go over and do the other eye. We'll come back and we'll play around with the rest of the face. BRB. All right, once again, here we go with e.l.f. Okay, again, if you've been watching me a while, this is the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. I have the shade light medium, light to medium. I've been using this for a while. So this is like a sheer color corrector that you use under your concealer. And it lightly corrects any darkness, whatever, under your eye. I don't have a huge dark circle problem, but I have a little bit. And it gives you a little bit of brightening. It's a thin formula. It's kind of sticky, like glue, like don't need a lot. And I use this basically every time I do my concealer. So I'm gonna use it now. And we're gonna compare this to the e.l.f. one. And honestly, at first, I didn't see what the big deal was about this. I was like, okay, what's this doing? But after using it a few times, I noticed how much I did really like it when I stopped using it. And I was like, I get it now. For using such a small amount, you can see how much it really does correct and brighten. And really, you can just use this on its own and it looks really not, like you can see a huge difference one side to the other. So now let's try the e.l.f. on this side. And its claims are, blurring under eye primer helps smooth fine lines and puffiness to prep for makeup application, infused with hyaluronic acid to help hydrate the delicate under eye area. For priming, and priming micro wax to help makeup stay in place. Use finger, pat, or sponge, pat thin layer of primer under the eyes, allow to set for 30 seconds. Wear alone or apply with concealer on top. It's definitely a different consistency. Yeah, there's definitely not, this is more of like a putty primer kind of thing. Like there's definitely not as much color correcting or anything going on here. We'll see if it does something in general. I mean, I definitely could see where there would be like a smoothing aspect. It does have that bit of slip to it. But, I mean, we'll see. Right off the bat, I do see like a blurring up close. But there's definitely like not any brightening, but it didn't claim to say like there was a brightening effect to it. All right, let me go off camera, do my foundation. I'm using the Urban Decay Stay Naked Weightless Liquid Foundation. My shade is 31NN. Let me apply that and we'll come back and we'll try the, everything is like a fucking mouthful today. Mega Revolution Conceal and Define Infinite Longwear Concealer, Crease Proof with Niacinamide, Infinite Coverage. I have the shade C6. We'll be right back and apply it. Whew. The claims for this concealer are, now this is like the big size, but this is all I have at Ulta right now. They do have a regular size, which is cheaper, but this is the large XL size, and this is $10. This Ultimate Full Coverage Longwear Conceal and Define Infinite XL Concealer is the best ever concealer that offers 16-hour wear with 20% more pigment and 20% more coverage. Suitable for all skin types, this concealer offers full coverage whilst remaining crease-proof, cakeless, and breathable for natural second skin finish. This says on it that it's semi-matte, I think. Designed to be multi-use, this product is also perfect for contouring, full face, or targeted concealing, thanks to its infamous doe foot applicator and stretchable formula. Yeah, let's give it a shot. Again, I got the shade C6, and what does it say? What is the undertone for this one? So I was going to get C5 in the store. Why didn't I get it? This is for light medium skin tones with a neutral undertone. I picked up C5. And then I realized as I was looking at it, it looked too pink. Now that I'm looking online, it said it actually had a golden undertone. So I'm glad I got 6 because this has a neutral undertone, which is what I would have gotten had I known it had a neutral undertone. All right, so let's do this. All right, so let's start with a little bit. Do like a 3 dot because everybody always likes to say, you never use enough concealer. Guess what? I'm aging. I'm almost 40 years old. I never use a lot of concealer because that's not my fucking jam. If you have wrinkles, concealer is not your fucking friend. All right, the color is good so far. The blendability is pretty good. And I don't like for my concealer shades to be like 30 shades lighter. All right, the shade's not bad. And I'll agree, it is like, it's definitely not dewy by any means, but it's not like, oh my god, that's the driest matte formula ever. It doesn't look cakey though, like it didn't enhance my wrinkles, but it didn't make them worse, I don't think. But the question is gonna be when we set it, because I always set my concealer, but I also almost don't feel like we need to. Let me do this side, because I'm almost feeling like maybe we don't need to. It doesn't look bad on this side like we need to. Let me wait a few seconds. Okay, let's do this side. Go 1, 2, 3. Let's see if this stuff is like a hidden gem. Like maybe it smoothed it enough that maybe it blurred enough of my wrinkles on this side. Let's see. I mean, that's the one thing that Becca doesn't really do. It doesn't really do anything to my wrinkles. This side looks a little bit better. I mean, if I keep my face still, if I smile, I have wrinkles on both sides, obviously. But wait. It looks smoother on this side. If we're just talking about smoothness, I'm not really talking about like the concealer at this moment. Not an obscene amount, but it definitely smoothed and this didn't. So that's something. Now, for the concealing part, I mean, that was true. It doesn't look cakey. It doesn't look like dry or crazy or anything like that. You know, it did brighten. The color's good. It's not oxidizing or anything. I don't like a crazy amount of concealing. I don't need it to be like 5 shades of concealing or maximum concealing. I don't need that kind of concealing. You know, I have fine lines and wrinkles, so it is moving with my wrinkles, so that's not what creasing is. I don't see it settling into the fine lines. I'm lying. It is settling a little bit. I'll zoom you in. I don't know if you can see that, but it's if you can look really close, it is settling a little bit, or it's pooling into the creases. All right, so that part's not true. Can you see that? This is where people got nasty in my Jeffree Star video. Literally after a minute of that stuff being on my eyes, he swore up and down his stuff didn't crease or settle into fine lines, and it did. In that video, people were like, you don't know what creasing means. Yeah, I fucking do. It's where it settles into the fine lines. It did. Anyway, not what we're talking about here. This is settling into the creases, so that part isn't true. And that's why you have to set it. I'm gonna use my Ciate London. And when I set my under eyes, I use a very tiny amount. Again, because just like using a ton of concealer is not a good look when you have wrinkles, using a ton of powder is also not a good look. Okay. All right, so that definitely mattified it a good bit. I'll zoom you in again. So that definitely made it look drier. Not that it looked hydrated before, but it made it definitely look drier and more matte. I don't think it looks like the worst or the mattest it's ever been. I mean, there's definitely been powders and concealers that have made it look like so parched, look like my fucking face was gonna fall off. All right, let me finish the rest of my makeup. Let me just finish the rest of my makeup, come back, and we'll kind of go over everything, and I'll give you my closing argument, because I'm a fucking lawyer today. All right, BRB. I always feel so stupid doing like a recap, because I pretty much tell you what I think throughout the video. So, here's what I think. Obviously, this isn't the same thing as the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. That's a corrector. This isn't. But if you see it at Marshall's or TJ Maxx, pick it up. It did smooth my under eye. For how long it's going to have that effect, I don't know. But for $2.99, who gives a shit? It's been on my under eye for almost an hour, and it still has a nice smoothing effect. It was $2.99. So far, so good. The e.l.f. primer, very nice. It's not as, like I said, it's not as opaque as I was hoping it was going to be. Upon first application, it was a little patchy. I was kind of concerned about that, but it worked just as well as the cream shade that I got. Yeah, my only issue is I wish it was a little bit more opaque and made the shadow pop a little bit more, but beautiful. I mean, $5, you can't beat this. I'm very happy so far. The concealer. I hated the Conceal and Hydrate line. I'm using up the foundation. I don't like to throw almost full products away. I'm just trying to use it with really hydrating primers and moisturizers underneath. It didn't hydrate my skin. Like I'm just trying to get rid of it. The concealer was like cakey and didn't hydrate by any means. My under eye area, like I just don't like it. I don't see how this is too much different from the original, to be completely honest. Now, obviously it's just been on while I've been filming. This is my first time trying it. I don't see how it's much different from the original. I don't not like that one, but it's not anything groundbreaking so far. I'm not like, wow, this is so different. I think it's fine. Doesn't look bad, even after I've set it. Each side looks fine. I think it feels nice and thin. It doesn't feel cakey like it said. So far, the claims are fine. I don't think it's full coverage. I didn't use a lot for the reasons I've listed before. I think it's okay so far. First impression, it's okay. I'm gonna use it more. I'm gonna use it the rest of the week and see how I feel about it. It's okay so far. But I'm not disappointed either. I'm not like, like that sucked. Like I'm not like how I felt about the Conceal and Hydrate. That sucked. It was not good, in my opinion. This, I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. I'm definitely gonna keep trying it and see if that opinion changes for better or worse. I don't think it's creaseless so far. That's my only like, about it. I don't think it's creaseless. It definitely creased and like sunk into fine lines. I don't know if you saw that when I zoomed in, but I definitely saw that after a little while. But yeah, so far I'm like, it's okay. The brushes from Profusion, I'm pretty happy with so far. I'm Hopefully they're gonna send me the face brushes that I ordered because I really want to try those. And the shadows. I'm not usually disappointed with Profusion shadows. I won't be trying the pressed glitters like I said. I know I don't like those. Overall, I'm pretty happy with everything that I used. Yeah, but that was it. If you tried any of these things for yourself, I guess namely this, and I guess possibly this, let me know. How do you like the e.l.f. eye primer? I'm so in love with this. Like I said, I've had the cream one for a little while, and I love it. I don't think this one will change my mind, except just the shade's different. So yeah, that was it. So far, so good. I'll keep trying this to see if anything changes. But yeah, that's all I've got to say, apparently. Everything I used today will be listed in the box below. There's no links there. When I list things, it's not links for you guys. I don't do that. I just list what I used on my face. That was it. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.